Hello, podcast world. This is Chats with Baba, brought to you by the Lighthouse for Academic and Cultural Excellence. My name is James Young. I'm an elder, I suppose. I reached that stage in my life. But the purpose of this chat is to inform and empower parents of young Black children. The information is appropriate for all children, but I've targeted Black children because of where we are in terms of literacy. Parents are the first and foremost teachers in the lives of children. And to inform parents is to enable them to release the natural genius that's in Black children. Black children have untapped and underdeveloped gifts. The quality of experience and exposure lays the foundation for life. And we want to move from miseducation to education. The goal is to strive for excellence. Over the last couple of weeks, I've been focusing on early literacy. I've been chatting about where our children are as measured by the National Assessment Education Project. So in math and science, we've not done well. And the purpose of this podcast is to redirect that. And so I want to share with you a testimony to kind of help us to understand commitment and what that means. I have a second daughter that was my daughter's roommate and friend at Howard University. So she's adopted me and I've adopted her. And she unfortunately is suffering with brain cancer. And she's been struggling with it for the last 6.5 years. But having said that, let me share with you a text that she sent me within the hour. And it's a testimony of her faith and desire. She said, "Hey, you guys, just finished with my chemo. My oncologist gave me good news today. So the 6 years and 4 months I've been on chemo, which is a daily cocktail chemical formula, that I've gone from infusion. It started out every 2 weeks, then every 3 weeks. Then the last year, it has been once a month. But the infusion doctor told me today I can come in now every 6 weeks for infusion. He said my numbers are awesome to keep doing what I'm doing. He wishes all parents would follow the program like I have. I don't go back for my next infusion until October. That means I'm getting closer to finally getting off of this doggone thing called chemo cocktail." What a testimony. 6.5 years of taking that chemo to wrestle with this brain cancer. And I text her back, and it brought tears to my eyes, but I texted her back and said, what your statement is a faith of commitment and desire to live. It shows that by following a prescription, you are getting better. If we were to commit ourselves to that kind of desire and want for our children, there's no limit on what they can do. There's absolutely no limit. One of the keys to working with young children is for them to develop a taste and thirst for learning. Let me say that again. One of the things during the early years is to lay the foundation so that children have a desire for a taste and thirst for learning. That comes about early. You just don't suddenly pick that up at midlife. the things that you do early lays the foundation for literacy. Literacy in the sense of math, literacy in the sense of reading, literacy in the sense of science, and all of the other pieces that go along with that. Now, having said that, I want you to think about one of the important things is getting children to appreciate and want to learn to read. Reading is the nucleus for everything else that you do. There's compelling evidence to support that premise. Once a child learns to read, it's never taken away. If they have an appreciation, they will never stop reading. A few weeks back, I had a young lady on to talk about her book. It's entitled HBCU Proud. HBCU stands for Historically Black Colleges and University, and the word proud of having gone there. It's a story about a young boy whose aunt takes him to visit an HBCU. And as he is navigating the campus and all of the elements that he sees there, he falls in love with an HBCU. She, Yvonne Metz, is coming out with another book that's called Cityrella. It is a remix of the traditional story of Cinderella. The young lady who was not doing well and had 3 wicked sisters and so forth and so on. This is a young lady who is doing a remix of that story called Cityrella. It's about girls, young girls that grow up in the city. And she helps them to understand that they too can become princes. These are 2 books that ought to be in every household. These are 2 books that you should read aloud to your children every day. Takes a few minutes, and the books are well illustrated. And as children, boys and or girls would see them, they would see themselves. And seeing yourself in that setting says, I can be successful. I can be a prince and or a princess. And as you're reading to them, what you're also doing is helping them to develop a strong sense of self and a sense of well-being as they look upon these pictures. When you read aloud to them, you are bringing the words off of the paper. When you read aloud to them, you put yourself into the story, and children are responding to your emotions, whether they're sad, happy, and that goes along with the rhythm of the story. And what I'm suggesting is that you do this on a daily basis, or as often as you can, 15 to 20 minutes daily. And as you're reading to them, you are asking questions. You're asking them to describe what they heard and describe what they see and to describe what they are thinking. What does this do? By reading aloud, it stimulates their mental thoughts as you're reading. As you're reading aloud, they are also learning language. They are also learning different body responses as you are reading, getting into the story. What they're also gaining is language, and they become more fluent as they're gaining the essence of what the stories are about. So it's important early on, and I'm stressing reading if you pick up my drift. There's so many benefits when children learn to read early. It improves their cognitive ability, their ability to think, their ability to solve problems. It improves their language skills. It prepares them for later academic success. And as you are reading to them, you're developing a special bonding relationship with the child while he or she is sitting there engaging with you as they're going through this process. It also increases their concentration and discipline. Remember, points that I bring out that I generally say is that you want to help them to pay attention, listen, follow directions, start a task, and finish a task. The task in this case is listening to the story, listening to the beginning of the story, listening to the events that take place in the story, listening to how the events unfold, and listen to who the characters are in the story. And at some point you get to the end, and then you're asking them to go back and to kind of put those things together. So that increases their concentration and it increases their discipline. And as you're talking to them to describe the story events, it improves their imagination and creativity by the nature of the questions that you ask them. What if you put yourself in the story? What would you have done? When she came to this particular situation, this is what happened. What would you have done given what you heard from the story? So children have a great imagination, and by you importing them into the story, it allows them to think creatively. It also cultivates a lifelong love of reading. So when I say it's important, and I'm spending the time on this particular content area reading, it's the building blocks that will enable them to get through life. So the reading, and the same thing when we talk about, I've laid out for you the benefits of teaching reading. I will do that I will do the same thing in another session as it relates to learning of math. So just remember those things. It improves their thinking, it improves their language skills, it prepares them for later academic success. You develop a special bond. It increases concentration and discipline. It improves their imagination and creativity. And it also knits together a lifelong love of reading. So with those things for today, I hope you are able to grasp the importance of laying that foundation. I want to go back to the testimony that I read to you, which in effect says that if one is committed, a goal can be fulfilled. Pay attention, listen, follow directions, start and finish a task. You can go to my website, jamesyoung.com, drjamesyoung.com. There are books there that I speak about relative to literacy and the things that parents can do. So have a great week, and hopefully things shared in this chat can be of some value to you. Thank you.